Hi everyone, good to see you again. Look, I'm in David's office. It's pretty rough in here. I don't know if I should show you. Let's just ignore the background because you don't see, you're only seeing the tip of the iceberg. I thought I'd come in here because it would be quiet. I thought we'd do a story time. I haven't done a story time for a little while. And I thought I would tell you about that time I went to Queenstown. Now, Queenstown is one of the most beautiful places on this planet. I will tell you why I did not enjoy it. Okay, here's what went down. I was pregnant with Charlie. So we're looking at, 13 and a half years ago. And we all decided to pop down to the South Island so I could meet David. I think I let something slip there, so that we could visit David's parents. I'm not going to elaborate on that. And also so that my children could go and visit their dad, who was living in Dunedin, also in the South Island. And David, being the spendthrift that he is, had us all driving down in the ute. I got to drive the ute. I think it was a manual, stick shift, I think Americans call it. We're driving down the South Island. We go across on the inter-island ferry. I think I got seasick. Now, where was I? Oh yes, so we're travelling down to the South Island, right, with 3 kids and my pregnant belly. And we dropped the children off at their dad's home. And David and I continued, and we were going to go and have a look at Queenstown. And we also went to Milford Sound. Oh, it's not quiet down here at all. This is right underneath the dining area. What is going on? So, where was I again? We went to Milford Sound. Now look, if you have anything on your bucket list, may I suggest Milford Sound, because it is the most beautiful place I've ever seen, and it's something you have to see with your own eyes because photographs do not do it justice. We continued on to Queenstown. Now David, being the spendthrift that he is, did not want to pay for a motel, or heaven forbid a hotel, with an H, backpackers hostel. Bunk rooms, mixed rooms, may I add. They were actually quite full because they had a couple of busloads of tourists in, and so we were given separate rooms, rightfully so. So I go into my room and there are 2 bunk beds there, and I see that the only spare bed is the top bunk. This was a little disturbing because I was somewhat pregnant. My little tummy was somewhat bulging, and I don't know if my cankles were up to the climb. Well, this lovely young British man, he would have been in his early 20s, he saw my predicament and he very kindly offered to switch places with me. So he let me have the bottom bunk, and he was going to go up on the top bunk. And that was very nice. It was ever so polite. I was so impressed with him. There were a lot of young people staying at the backpackers hostel because it wasn't a hotel with an H. It would have been nice to have stayed in a hotel with an H and a bath and privacy. So all the young people went out, night clubbing I presume, and so I settled myself into bed and drifted off to sleep, and at approximately 2 a.m. Yes! I have come to accept that I'm not going to get through the story without interruptions. That's the dog. We've got the wooden flat floors and the dog claws going t-t-t-t. I did an ASMR video recently, and maybe I should add that on. Maybe not. Bear with. I have company in the room. The nice young man, he swapped bunks with me. Okay, we got up to that. He was English, by the way. And so I settled down to sleep. All the young people had gone out. And so, no, don't write with that. It's a metallic pen. I don't know what that will do. And at approximately 2 a.m., don't do that. At approximately 2 a.m. they all started to come back in. Woke me up, of course, but I thought young people, you know, they're having fun. So I fell back to sleep, as you do. Oh, thank you, darling. Oh, very nice, excuse me. Oh, let there be light. Oh, I look fabulous. Well, I hadn't long been asleep when I felt somebody slide into bed beside me. Without a word of a lie, there was somebody next to me, and it wasn't David. And I felt hands fumble across me, and then I heard a gasp. It was a female gasp, because she had discovered that I was not a young English man, and she had touched my pregnant tummy. I sort of said, up there? And she politely left my bed and climbed up the bunk. I'm sorry, I'm lying on the bottom bunk. And she climbs up the bunk and joins the Englishman. She was American, by the way. That bunk started rocking, and there were noises. And it was very awkward. And I was lying there. Shh, you're not meant to laugh at this. So I was lying there like this. Please stop, please stop. I thought, how long could it take? I mean, you know, David. It continued for quite some time, so I thought, I'll be discreet. So I slid out of the bottom bunk, as much as a heavily pregnant woman can slide out of a bottom bunk, and I went into the day room, the shared communal lounge room. Yeah, that's where I went. And I read some magazines, and I waited for about an hour. And I went back in. That bunk was still rocking. So I went and had a very long shower. I was feeling very tired and somewhat grumpy by then. I was not getting my sleep. And I was, did I mention pregnant? I went back and they were still doing it. In the end, I went back into the communal lounge area and I attempted to sleep there, but I didn't sleep very well. So that was my night, my one night in Queenstown. I did not like it. It would have been okay, except we had a long drive ahead of us the next morning. And David, bless his little heart, wanted me to drive, even though I had had very little sleep, because poor David had a migraine. I nearly killed him. I will just leave it there and hope that it's not too... Yeah, I'm not going to put you off going to any backpackers hostels, because I don't want to go back. But okay, she's touching everything. I've got to go and put her to bed. Okay, night-night. I mean, it could be morning. Good morning. Oh, goodbye.